Okay, hallelujah. So, Mr. Todd, we're going to go ahead with today's class. We're going to have our executive Moray come up and do what he do and deliver the word. Hey, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom. Yes,
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hallelujah. We thank the Most High Yahuah for all that He has done for us. We thank Him for all the testimonies that have gone forth. And we just thank Him for, His goodness, kindness, and His mercy that He has bestowed upon us. And we thank Him for, just like Zaza King Gabaria, who was saying that, we can't take these things for granted when we can go to and fro from point A to point B. You can come home, not be hit by a car, nobody shooting at you and all this stuff. Because sometimes we take life for granted, and that's why I always say, if you may not have won the lottery or something, some event that you call miraculous or something that you would consider great. Anytime you can wake up in the morning, it's miraculous. Yes, it's great. Anytime you have life, health, and strength. And my Aunt Isha was saying something the other day, we were just talking, and I forget what it was she was saying, and she was like, we have to thank Yahuah for the small things as well. And I forget what I said, there's nothing that Yahuah does for us that's small. I said, because everything that He does for us is great. If you begin to examine and investigate, look into what you could call it small, you will realize it's something great. And so we just thank Him for all things. We just thank Him for it makes me happy anytime I can come in here on Shabbat and I can see your faces. Right. That's a wonderful thing because I love y'all just that much. And so there is concern when I don't see it, and it just, favor that the Most High shows us that we can come in weekly and none of us are in the hospital. We're not going to have a memorial service for somebody or something. And so it's great. And I just thank, the Most High for that. And also, let's just continue to uplift each other and continue to hold each other up in prayer. That is so important. And it's imperative that we do these things. Because you don't know what your brothers and sisters are going through, what they're experiencing during the week. So, it's good if you can't reach out and call them and have any kind of verbal conversation with them, at least hold them up in prayer. Continue to hold your brothers and sisters in prayer and lift them up in prayer weekly. And that's something I do every week. I don't think if a week go by I don't mention y'all tell Yahuah to cover you and allow His guardian Malachim to encamp around you, protect you from all harm and danger. That's just, because when I say you all are near to me, that's what I mean. And my family, even they know it. They know nothing comes before y'all. And they know if it comes about me, if I got to help you versus helping them, they already know which way I'm leaning towards. Because you are the one that I have so much familiarity, and we have a common goal, we have common practices. We are one. Yes. We are in a card. So I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. See each and every last one of you. And, let's just continue to do these things. Let's just continue to do these things because we're all we have. And one thing I like about it, this congregation is, we're not perfect. And we have disagreement with each other. But we know how to get past that, come back together, and coexist. And a lot of people can't do that. When they fall out they falling out. And it might be, 6 months to a year, and you haven't spoken to them, they still feel some type of way about you. But I just think the Most High, we have a love that we can get past things. We know how to come back, settle our differences or whatever, and we just come back. We know how to coexist and, walk in unity or accord with each other. And I appreciate that. And so, with that being said, let's get into this lesson. But I don't want to talk up too much time, but I just want you guys to know, how much I love you and how much y'all appreciate you, what you mean to me. And just continue to uplift me in prayer, more reconciled Zazakan, Gabar Yahuah, Abraham Luke, Liberal Youth, we got you in our prayers. Anything you need, don't hesitate to call. Let me tell you something about this congregation. One thing that we have never been, or never tried to allow is people to have a spirit of pride, or if you need help, you need to contact someone. Reach out to somebody in this congregation and let them know what's going on. Because, like I said, when you hurt, I hurt. And when I hurt, you should hurt. You shouldn't be enduring anything alone or trying to handle something alone. If you got bills that are approaching, you've been faithfully paying tithes and stuff. So if something's going on, you need help. That's what we're here for. Why sit up in the dark and you got somebody to help illuminate your home? You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. And I hope this is a congregation where everybody feels comfortable if they have a need or something going on with them, that they can come to their brothers and sisters and ask. I never can. I talk about it all the time. Zakan, Gabar Yahuah family, and Zabul Yahuah and his family. The things they have done within this past 6 months, the past year, it's unheard of kind of in the Israelite movement now. I mean, you haven't known them a good 1, 2, 3 months, and you open up your home, welcome them in, allow them to eat your food. That says a lot.
Absolutely.
And that's in the scripture. This is how we're supposed to live. And it's genuine. I mean, it just blows my mind. I admire that so much about y'all and the willingness. I said I wasn't going to be doing all this talk again. Yeah. But also, let me just say, I admire your willingness to do so. That lets me know if push came to shove, if things did get bad and we all had to come together, I know 2 families I don't have to worry about being able to coexist with. Because they prove that they can do it and they're willing to do it. And this is how it's supposed to be. And that's nothing to take lightly. I admire that. And I was telling the Boot Yahuah and his Isha, I think I mentioned to her, we were talking about before class hour. They have one of the few homes that you go in. I go into that home and I kid you not, it feels like I'm in my very own house, a home. It's just that much freedom, and you just feel so welcome. And you don't get that a lot of places. And I like that because, when there are times people invite you to their home, say, make yourself at home, there are parameters, there are borders. And I'm not saying that you don't have borders, but we know how to respect that. But you know how you feel at home? You want something to drink, and you looking at the person, they looking at like, I hope you're not expecting me to get it for you. You better go in there and get it. Yeah. You know you at home, and they mean what they say, you know what I'm saying? And so we appreciate these things. I just want to...
yes, we are perfect.
Okay. I just want to commend, like I said, that Gabar, and his family, and you and your family for how you just open your doors and show that love to visitors that, that we weren't able to house them, but you had no problem doing it, just showing the love and just really the brother and sister that y'all said, that you show yourself to be. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let's give him a hand, y'all. Hallelujah. Now, Jeremiah 16 and 14. Look into the wilderness. Last week we have it titled as the Wilderness Part 1, but it was kind of an introduction or a pilot kind of leading up to going into the actual teaching. Yahuah 16 and 14, or Jeremiah 16 and 14, verses 14 through 15. We're going to ask our senior Moray if he have it, we can get that for us. Jeremiah 16, 14, and 15. 16th chapter, verses 14 and 15.
Yahusha, chapter 16, verse 14. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahuah, that it shall no more be said, Yahuah liveth that brought up the children of Yashra'al out of the land of Egypt.
Stop right there. Therefore, behold, the days what?
Come.
Come. So that means that's future tense when Jeremiah prophesied, right?
Yes.
Was Jeremiah before or after the Exodus? After the Exodus. So he would not have been talking about what? Or Mizraim or Egypt. Now, what's to be looked at here is, it said, Yahuah that Elohim liveth that brought the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. What's wrong with that statement right there? I mean, some of y'all are like, what? Ain't nothing wrong with that statement. What's wrong with it? This is why I want us to start focusing, so pay attention to what's written. Now remember, this is the English language. Okay, what did you say, Robert Lou?
So they were the children of Israel.
Okay, he said they weren't the children of Israel when they came out. Technically, they were, but what I want to look at is, listen to me read this, is focus in on and hone in on the word I put the most emphasis on. Yahuah, that Elohim liveth, that brought the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. Now, what's going on here? How many of y'all know there was no such thing as a land called Egypt during that time?
That's right.
That's key. So, where would it have been that he was bringing them up from? Mizraim, which was also called what? The land of what?
Bondage.
Bondage, or the house of bondage. Egypt is a generic term to describe a condition. It comes from the Greek Egyptus, which, when you go look up the word Egypt or Mizraim, it means double what? Double stress. A double straight. Straight means stress. So if it means double, what it said is that condition that they originally he brought them up out of the first time, it will also be another condition or another captivity that they will come out that will be what? Comparable to that condition or that captivity. That's why it's called double stress or double straight. So when you go look up the word Egypt or Mizraim, that's what you get. So the condition that they came out of, and yet we know how stressful, how bad it was coming up out of Mizraim the first time, it lets you know that it was going to happen this a second time. We all on one accord. We're on the same page.
Yes.
Hallelujah. Okay, boy.
But Yahuah liveth, that brought up the children of Yashra'al from the land of the north,
The land of the north,
and from all the lands where he hath driven them.
and from all the lands where he hath driven them.
And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers.
Stop right there. So, in verse 15, it said, but Yahuah Elohim liveth that brought the children of Israel out of the land of the north, which would not be North America, but North America is included in some of the lands where he has driven them. So, the operative word in this phrase is from all the lands where he had driven them. So, that should let you know that it wasn't talking about Mizraim, the original captivity in the land or the house of bondage. Because did he drive them into Mizraim? Or did they freely walk in there and prosper? They freely walked in and they prospered and increased into a multitude more nations. So this is the kind of thing that when we read, it's a little simple thing I try to get people to look at and focus on and pay attention to. Because, a lot of people, they read it and say, this has already happened. But it has not happened. They'll tell you that the 400 years took place in Mizraim. Right. But it didn't. We were never in Mizraim 400 years as captives.
Right.
380, I think it was.
210.
Yeah, 210.
Yeah. How about
210.
Yeah, 210.
So when you look at it, You have to be able to hone in and focus on these things. This is why a lot of times it takes a while to do these lessons, because I like to try to get people to pay attention and just really examine and focus on what you're reading, because there are operative words within these verses that will give you an understanding. So, okay, so it could have been talking about this, or it would not have been pertaining to this because it's reading this right here. So that's what we want to do. So it's talking about all the land we has driven them. He did not drive them into Mizraim. He said, I will bring them again into what? Their land that I have gave unto their fathers. And what land would that be that he gave to their fathers?
Israel. Jerusalem.
Thank you, Jerusalem.
It's all Palestine, isn't it?
Huh?
It's actually all of Palestine.
Yeah, it's all Palestine, but what I'm glad you said Jerusalem, which was formerly Canaan.
That's good.
Right.
Yep.
There was never during a time in Scripture where that land was called Israel. Know that there's no biblical place in that Bible that's called Israel. That's unheard of. That land was always Jerusalem or Canaan.
Yep.
It was never called Israel. This is a 1948 thing. We used to start saying later about Israel. So this is why I say, remember, this is written in English. So let's focus and pay attention to these things, because these things are very important. So when you start saying Israel, and I received once the Bible had the word Jewish in it. And I was like, you know something wrong with that.
Yep.
And so let's focus on these things so it keep us between the lanes and keeping us thinking Hebrew, because it's very important, because you'll go off with this and it'll start kind of leading and get you to think the other way if you're not careful. There was no such thing as a land called Israel. Even though you see it on these maps and stuff, some of it written, it was not called Israel. I'm sorry. Verse 37, I'm sorry. Jeremiah 23:7. Yahuah 23:7. Also along with it, verse 8. Yahuah 23, verses 7 and 8.
Yahuah, chapter 30 of, you said 23. 23, 7 and 8. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahuah, that they shall no more say, Yahuah liveth, which brought up the children of Yashra'al out of the land of Egypt. But Yahuah liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all countries where I have driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land.
And so what land is that again? Jerusalem. So we see in Jeremiah 27 also witnessing and confirming what was stated in chapter 16. Now let's go to Ezekiel or Yahusha, the 39th chapter. Yahusha 39, verses 27, 28, 29. Ezekiel 39, verses 27, 28, and 29. I'm sorry, Maury. Yeah.
That's what we're going to read it.
Yeah, Ezekiel 39, 27 to 29. When I have brought them again from the people, and gathered them out of their enemies' land, and have sanctified or set apart in them in the sight of many nations, then shall they know that I am Yahuah their Elohim, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen. But I have gathered them into their own land, and have left none of them any more there. Neither will I hide my face any more from them. For I have poured out my set-apart spirit upon the house of Yashra'al, saith Yahuah your Elohim.
Now, let's look at something here. And this is where the scriptures kind of get touchy personally. Now, we're going to focus on what's being said right here. And let me state my disclaimer. This is not me being a separatist or whatever, but let's focus on what Yahuah said through his prophet. He said, when I have brought them again from the people and gathered them out of their what? Enemies' land, and sanctified them, or made them set apart, and I am set apart in them in the sight of many nations. Let's stop right there. Now, these lands in which the children of Israel are scattered, whose lands did Yahuah say we were going to be in? Our enemies' land. And this is the one thing that plagues the nation of Yashra'al most. Having an understanding of where they are and who they are amongst. It goes to show you that the vast majority of our people are still asleep. Anytime you're in the street marching for what? Equal rights, and you want to be treated equal, apparently you don't know where you are. You didn't come over here on the same status as they are when you got off those slave ships. It's still the same people that rule over you, so what makes you think you're going to have equal status with them? I don't care where we are, what nation or what country we've been scattered in, we do not have equal status with them. And this is something that we have to focus on, because when it comes to this book, the Most High, he's very strategic, he's very specific about what his land is, who his people, where his land is, what's his land, and who his people are. We try to do all these things to accommodate the feelings of those that may attach themselves to us or who are in our circle or whatever, that may not be of the nation of Yashra'al. And that's the problem. You have to teach and talk about this book and speak it just as it is written. So let's go read that again. When I have brought them again from the people, so first of all, if he brings you from the people, you ought to know something wrong. Why would he be bringing you from a people? That's because you're not where you're supposed to be. The origin of your existence and your inheritance is somewhere else. So he shouldn't be bringing you from anywhere. He said, therefore the days come when Yahuah said that I will what? Oh no, I'm going too far. I'm sorry. When I have brought them again from the people, I have gathered them out of their enemies' land, and I am set apart in them in the sight of many nations. In the sight of many nations, because he what? Scattered us into many nations. 28 more, right?